In a world where attraction is as diverse as the people who experience it, one question often sparks curiosity and debate. Do American women and girls truly prefer men with larger than average penises? Beyond the myths and stereotypes lies a complex interplay of culture, psychology, and personal preference that shapes how intimacy and attraction are experienced across the United States. Sexual attraction and preferences have fascinated humanity for centuries, intertwining biology, culture, and personal experience into a delicate tapestry. Among the myriad of questions about what makes a partner desirable, one stands out for its persistent presence in popular culture and private conversations like, do women in the United States prefer men with larger penises? This question, often clouded by humor, exaggeration, and misinformation, warrants a serious exploration. Understanding female preference regarding male anatomy is not merely about measuring physical attributes, but involves recognizing the social, psychological, and emotional dimensions that influence desire and satisfaction. This essay explores the factors behind such preferences, the myths surrounding them, and the realities experienced by women and girls across the USA. Chapter 1: The Myth of Size and Its Cultural Roots. Popular media and societal stereotypes have long promoted the idea that bigger is better when it comes to male genitalia. Movies, jokes, advertisements, and even adult entertainment often reinforce this narrative, creating an expectation that size equates to sexual prowess and desirability. But where did this myth originate? Some researchers trace it back to deep evolutionary psychology theories, where physical attributes are thought to signal health, virility, and genetic fitness. Others see it as a cultural construct perpetuated by media to create insecurities and fantasies. In the US, the diversity of cultures and attitudes towards sex complicates this narrative. While some women may prioritize size, many prioritize other factors such as emotional connection, confidence, communication skills, and overall compatibility. Chapter 2: What research says about female preferences. Studies on female preferences regarding penis size have shown mixed results. For instance, research indicates that while some women may have a preference for larger size in casual encounters, in long-term relationships, qualities such as trust, intimacy, and emotional support tend to hold greater weight. Psychological studies also reveal that perceived size may sometimes matter less than how a man carries himself and how comfortable both partners feel during intimacy. In other words, confidence and communication often overshadow anatomical concerns. Across America's sprawling cities and quiet towns, one question lingers in whispered conversations and bold jokes alike. Does size really matter when it comes to male anatomy? More specifically, do American women and girls truly prefer men with larger than average penises? Behind the laughter, myths, and cultural taboos lies a complex reality shaped by biology, psychology, and deeply personal preferences. One that challenges the simplistic notion that bigger is always better. Introduction. Sexual attraction is one of the most powerful forces driving human relationships, entwined with emotions, biology, and culture. Among the many dimensions of attraction, physical traits have always fascinated people. None has sparked as much curiosity, myth-making, and insecurity as the size of the male genitalia. In the United States, where media, culture, and conversations around sex are often open yet layered with contradiction, the question, do women prefer men with larger penises, remains hotly debated. Some claim size is a crucial factor for pleasure and satisfaction. Others argue emotional connection, respect, and compatibility far outweigh any physical measurement. This essay delves deep into the layers of this question. It will explore the origins of the size myth, examine scientific research on female preferences, consider cultural and psychological influences, and discuss how intimacy and attraction are far more complex than mere physical dimensions. Our goal is to provide a thoughtful, honest, and respectful understanding of what truly matters to women and girls in the USA when it comes to physical attraction and sexual relationships. Chapter 1: The Cultural Origins of the Size Myth. The notion that bigger is better when it comes to the penis is deeply embedded in popular culture. From late-night jokes to blockbuster films, and advertisements to pornography, American society is saturated with messages glorifying size as a symbol of masculinity and sexual prowess. This cultural narrative has roots in several factors: historical symbolism. Throughout history, many cultures have linked male genital size with virility, strength, and dominance. Ancient fertility symbols and art often emphasize exaggerated features, reinforcing the association between size and sexual power. Evolutionary psychology. Some scientists argue that larger penises signal greater genetic fitness, suggesting a survival advantage that might influence female preferences on a subconscious level. Media and pornography. The adult entertainment industry often exaggerates sizes, creating unrealistic standards. This portrayal feeds into the myth and impacts how men and women perceive normalcy. Masculinity and self-esteem. In American culture, where masculinity is sometimes narrowly defined, penis size can become a proxy for a man's self-worth, leading to insecurities and pressures to conform to the ideal. However, these cultural messages don't necessarily reflect the complex realities of female desire. Chapter 2. Scientific Insights on Female Preferences. What does research say about the preferences of American women and girls? Surveys and studies reveal a nuanced picture. Preference variation. While some studies indicate a slight preference for larger size in casual encounters or one-night stands, the majority of women prioritize other factors such as emotional intimacy, trust, and sexual compatibility in long-term relationships. Pleasure and size. Research from sexologists shows that sexual pleasure depends on a range of factors, including communication, technique, and emotional connection, not merely physical size. In fact, for many women, penis girth and size beyond a certain point do not significantly impact satisfaction, psychological comfort. The way a man carries himself, confidence, attentiveness, and respect often matters more than physical attributes. Women tend to feel more satisfied when they feel safe and understood by their partners. Communication over size. Many sex therapists emphasize the importance of open communication about desires and boundaries as a key to fulfilling sexual experiences, far outweighing concerns about size. Chapter 3. Emotional and psychological dimensions of attraction. When discussing physical preferences, it is easy to forget that attraction is not simply a reaction to appearance or anatomy. Human connection operates on many levels: emotional, psychological, intellectual, and spiritual. For many American women, attraction develops through emotional chemistry rather than physical dimensions alone. In psychology, researchers emphasize the importance of emotional intelligence in romantic relationships. Women often value qualities such as empathy, humor, kindness, and confidence because these traits signal emotional maturity and stability. These characteristics tend to create a sense of safety and comfort, which are essential for deeper intimacy. Furthermore, the feeling of being understood and emotionally connected has been shown to heighten overall satisfaction in relationships. In other words, the mind and heart often play a far greater role than any single physical characteristic. The most fulfilling relationships are those where both partners feel valued, respected, and emotionally secure. Chapter 4. Media Influence and Social Pressure. American culture has long been shaped by the messages it receives from television, movies, advertising, and most notably digital media. The idea that physical appearance, especially body size or shape, defines attractiveness has been reinforced across generations. From superhero films to pop music videos, men are often portrayed as hyper-masculine figures whose worth is tied to physical dominance. Women, in turn, are shown responding to these exaggerated ideals, which subtly teaches both genders what they are supposed to desire. This constant exposure can distort real-life expectations. Social media platforms have amplified these pressures even more. Many young men and women report feeling anxious or insecure because they compare themselves to unrealistic images online. These comparisons create a cycle of self-doubt and dissatisfaction, making it harder to form genuine, healthy relationships based on authenticity rather than illusion. However, a growing number of people in the United States are challenging these stereotypes. Modern movements promoting body positivity, mental wellness, and gender equality encourage individuals to define attraction in more diverse and personal ways. As a result, conversations about what truly matters in intimacy are becoming more open, inclusive, and accepting. Chapter 5. Redefining Masculinity and Confidence. In recent years, psychologists and educators have begun to redefine masculinity. The old model of manliness focused on dominance, control, and physical power. The new model celebrates emotional strength, respect, communication, and confidence without arrogance. Confidence plays a particularly important role in attraction. When a man is comfortable with himself, his body, his emotions, and his values, it radiates outward and creates a strong impression. Women often find this kind of authenticity far more appealing than superficial displays of strength or size. True confidence comes from self-acceptance. Men who value themselves for their integrity, empathy, and intelligence naturally form deeper and healthier connections. In this sense, masculinity is not measured by body features, but by character, kindness, and consistency. Chapter 6. The reality of intimacy and connection. In long-term relationships, physical traits tend to become less important as emotional and psychological bonds deepen. Studies conducted by relationship researchers in the U.S. consistently show that communication, mutual respect, and emotional intimacy are the strongest predictors of relationship satisfaction. Couples who openly discuss their needs, boundaries, and feelings are far more likely to experience fulfilling intimacy. These conversations create understanding and trust, qualities that no physical trait can replace. Many women describe the most attractive men as those who listen, care, and make them feel safe and valued. Ultimately, intimacy thrives on connection, not comparison. Conclusion: beyond myths, toward understanding. The belief that women in the USA universally prefer certain physical traits is a myth built on oversimplified ideas about desire. In truth, attraction is deeply personal and influenced by countless factors: emotional compatibility, shared values, humor, communication, and trust. While culture and media may shape perceptions, genuine attraction is far more complex than any stereotype. American women, like women everywhere, are individuals with unique experiences, emotions, and expectations. What truly matters is not the size or shape of any body part, but the quality of the connection two people share. In the end, real intimacy is built not in comparison or insecurity, but in the courage to be authentic, kind, and emotionally present. That is what truly draws people together, far beyond myths, measurements, or cultural noise. Final thoughts. What attraction really means. As this discussion shows, attraction is not a single equation that can be solved by measuring physical traits. It is a living, emotional experience shaped by how two people connect, communicate, and care for each other. American women, like people everywhere, are individuals with their own values, stories, and perceptions of beauty. What matters most is not how someone looks, but how they make others feel. In the end, relationships that endure are not built on surface-level characteristics. They are built on mutual respect, emotional safety, humor, trust, and love. These are the qualities that stay long after physical appearances fade. The myth of size will likely continue to appear in jokes, movies, and media, but those who look deeper will understand that true attraction goes far beyond such comparisons. Real confidence comes from self-acceptance, and real intimacy comes from connection. So, perhaps the real question is not what people prefer, but why we allow ourselves to be defined by shallow ideals. When we choose to look beyond them, we rediscover what has always been true. The human heart is far more powerful and far more beautiful than any physical measure could ever be. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share.